There we go.
There we are.
Oh man, wow, isn't that something? I got all the scenes and everybody saw them.
Yeah.
Good, huh?
You went through it. It's like a sneak peek,
Yeah, here
cliffhanger.
you go, everybody. Sneak peek this week of everybody in
Yeah.
the backstage. Nobody's done that, have they? The little sneak peek things.
No, it's like a cliffhanger. Now they know what to expect a little bit,
Yeah.
but not really.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some guys on here in a minute, and then I think
Yeah.
I'm just checking to see if it's live. But how you doing this week, man?
Man, I'm good. We had a big week, and we had a Jake and Dontrell's battle last week. Came right down to the wire. It was pretty crazy. It was 50.7% to 49.3%.
Jeez,
There
that's
was like literally a couple votes that separated those guys,
wow.
which was fun to see. But we had to do some recounts before, they called us and asked us to demand a recount. But
It'd be interesting to see if we have like blue and red states.
it would be. But all we really have is a viral sweep that tells us what happened.
Right.
It's all digital. We're not counting ballots one by one. So
you're not like we're around the world. Like Canada probably had a few votes.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, there's definitely a few from up here. Yeah.
So we got this is our fourth bracket, right?
This is our fourth bracket on the last one for kind of the left side, and then the right side starts next week. And this week we've got Rob and Chad in, and another new brand with Rob bringing in Wilderness Systems, and that's exciting. And lots of it's been going really well, man. Like people are loving it, and we're getting lots of comments. And
nice.
I will say that with the influence that Rob and Chad both have socially, we've had more votes already in one day than we've had in the last 3 weeks.
Jeez. Wow.
And they've been some pretty good numbers, but I'm not going to let Chad know that because I don't want to pump up Chad's ego here at all.
Yeah. So I've seen quite a bit on my feeds too as well. So it's going pretty good. Let's bring we're going to bring in Newport Motors guy in, Howie. Can we do that now?
Yeah, for sure, you guys. So we have a bracket sponsor every week, and every bracket, and these couple weeks are going to be sponsored by Newport Vessels, and they do the NK180, NK300, or NK180 Pro and NK300. They have some pretty cool new stuff that just came out and was released like last week, literally. And Howie's been awesome to work with. Works with us at Kayak Angler and one of our sponsors for the YakOffs, and super pumped to introduce you guys to Howie. And Howie, tell us what's going on, man.
Well, first I got to interrupt. Howie, last week we had a guy pull a hook out of his arm. What are you going to do?
Oh,
I got no tricks for you. I mean,
that's true.
I don't know if I have space to do a backflip on camera right here where I'm at, but
you could.
That's my best party trick.
All right, go ahead, Howie.
But yeah,
it looks like you got a mattress behind you.
Yeah, just for
you can do a backflip.
So yeah, I mean, I'm Howie. I'm the brand marketing manager at Newport, and pretty excited about working with Kayak Angler another year. And this is definitely a new campaign, that we jumped on board with a couple months ago. This YakOff campaign, and it's been pretty cool to see the different builds and all that stuff kind of flow out. But I came on board with Newport almost 2 years ago now. I was previously a product manager at Hobie Kayaks for about 7 years, and we had some cool projects over there, and just got really involved in the kayak side of the industry that way. And then when it was time to kind of move on to the next thing, I naturally gravitated to where the kayak fishing industry was headed and is at currently, with motorization kind of the evolution of the watercrafts and stuff that way. But this last year at Newport's been really exciting. We kicked off 2025 with all kinds of cool new things. So we had a good year last year, and that gave us some financial flexibility to kind of really get into the mainstream eye of the market. And so we signed on as the title sponsor of the Bassmaster Kayak Series. So we got that going on. New for this year, we've partnered with Mike and Vegas Iconelli. So we announced that at the beginning of the year. We late last year launched a new inflatable skiff. And then early this year, in fact, just about a week ago, we launched the low pro lithium batteries. We've got some other stuff coming up spring and summer of this year. One project which we announced at ICAST last year will be rolling out later this spring, an NT 600. While that doesn't really directly apply to the kayak fishing world, it's just kind of a notable evolution of the brand. So we got bigger and better and more powerful motors, new batteries, and some really cool projects on the horizon. And we got a really good support system with some of our pros, if you will, and stuff like that. So
awesome.
We got the Bassmaster Classic Expo coming up, and excited to see what all the anglers do there. We're just really invested in the community, really invested in the sport, and that's kind of, and really committed to innovation. That's kind of our thing at Newport. So in a nutshell, that's us.
I know those
awesome.
Those commercials that Guillermo Gonzalez are in, those are really cool.
Yeah, so we use I think you might be talking about the live stream preview where Steve Owens will come on, he'll do the live updates throughout the day of the leaderboard, the Tourney X leaderboard. And so we have a 30-second little commercial piece that runs there as part of that intro. We just had a 30-second commercial that's airing on the Bassmaster Elites on the live streams on Bassmaster.com. And so you can see a cool commercial about Newport there, a 30-second brand anthem piece. So really just making efforts to put Newport and the kayak, the sport of kayak fishing kind of help elevate that and get it into the mainstream fishing community. So,
well, thanks for sponsoring. That's really cool.
Yeah, man.
We have you here with us, and then so what we're gonna do is feed into our two competitors this week here, and bring them on. And we're gonna have, hopefully get everybody in here. Let's see how it works here. There they are.
Hello.
Wow, you are a pro now, Marty. Look at that.
Man, I did something.
First try this week.
Yeah, isn't it cool? Got everybody in there. All right, we got Howie, we got Chad Hoover from KBF, and we got Rob English. I believe Wilderness Systems, right?
Correct. Yes.
So let's go ahead and start with Chad here. Introduce yourself, buddy, and see what's going on tonight.
Well, I'm Chad Hoover, like Marty said, the KBF dude, the old guy, one of the old guys.
One of the old guys.
I was sitting there listening to the intro, and I really appreciate what Newport's doing because, competition in this industry breeds innovation, and then innovation breeds more competition, and competition breeds better products that we all as consumers get to take advantage of. And I will take this opportunity to break my arm patting myself on the back. If you're fishing out of a kayak right now and you've got a motor on it, you're welcome. Because if you've ever seen those war movies with the dude that's got all the scars on their back, when they take their shirt off because they were in war, I'm that dude with the motors. I was the guy that back when Howie was over at Hobie and they were like, pedal drives the future. I'm like, no, it ain't. Motors are the future. And everybody looked at me like I had a unicorn horn growing out of my forehead. Like I knew we were going to be here today. And it was crazy. Like I used to get crucified with like kayak fishing on Tombstone memes and stuff on social media. So I will take this opportunity to gloat a little bit and say I've literally looked forward to this day for 15 years, to where kayak fishing and motorization is more acceptable than not. Because it used to be, if you posted anything about a motor, it was like pitchforks and freaking torches and want to burn your ass to the ground. And it warms my heart to see all of the dudes that are putting motors on their kayak that were in that group of people with their pitchforks and torches. And I just get a big smile on my face every time thinking about how anti-motor they were. And now they all got motors on their kayak, and they're talking about how they knew motors were going to be the future from the beginning. And I love the fact that Newport is in the space, because, like I said, when we have competition in this space and multiple companies investing in the sport, like, we all win. So my hat's off to Newport for doing that. Howie has been in the game for a long freaking time, like a long time. And I appreciate everything that he's done for the sport, even when we've been on opposite sides of the competing, bubble. It's amazing when folks are like genuinely dedicated to the growth and the future of the sport. And I think that what Howie's doing and what Newport's doing is genuine. And I actually got a big shitting grin on my face when I was watching the Bass live over the weekend, and it was cut into the Newport commercial. So
It did several times.
Nice. That was awesome.
Okay, Rob, you're up, buddy.
So I'm Rob English. Been with Bullet Systems for I think it's like 2018. Started out just a pro staff guy, and through the years worked my way up as content guy. Now I'm the manager of the team, the U.S. team, and basically my background is video production. So that really helped me get out there as far as that, because that's what I do every day. 40 hours a week plus doing videos and content and things like that, which kind of just the way kayak fishing is now. Everybody's got a camera out there, everybody's filming, shooting, but I had the little advantage of having the extra editing skills and computers and things like that, and access to the cameras and stuff really helps a lot. Me.
Wow, nice. Okay, so this week, where's our? Oh, there he is. You're awfully quiet there, Keith.
What? It wasn't my turn to speak.
I know, that's all right. That's all right. I lost you. That we had so much going on this here. I lost you, and I go, where'd Keith go?
I'm right underneath you.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna play, Chad. I'm gonna play about a minute of yours, and about a minute of Rob's, and you guys can chime in while it's playing. Even doesn't matter. And then we're going to listen.
Hey guys, I'm Chad Hoover. Welcome to today's video, where I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of the Bonafide PWR 129 with all of my updated rigging, suggestions on why you should choose this boat, my overview on performance, stability, comfort, and all the other things you need to think about when purchasing a fishing kayak. All right guys, so what we're going to do is we're literally just going to run bow to stern. I'm going to talk about the upgrades that I've made. I'm going to talk about some stuff that I did to the boat that I then took off the boat, so you don't have to make those same mistakes. Starting right up front, one of the things that I like to do is tow my boat up and down hills, drag it through the woods, do all of that crazy stuff with it, and the stock handle just does not stand up to that abuse. In fact, this thing will rip out pretty easily once you get these boats loaded down very heavy, and when you put it on a trailer, you just need a little bit more reinforcement. So I put this plate up on the front to give me that extra stability, that extra strength that's bolted through here, and then tied into the two places where the strap for the paddle comes stock. And then I've got the ability to put a bow mount, I've got the ability to put a power pole mount on the front. Just gives me a lot of flexibility. I like to hook my Rogue ADS strap to the front of it, and just makes it easy.
So what's really cool though is what I see here, guys. Whoop, I got to find my way back to you. What's really cool though is not only the things that we can purchase, but here's Chad, who's developed a little piece of equipment for his kayak. I don't think you created that, didn't you, Chad?
I helped create it with Catch. Catch actually manufactures that. So
okay, but see, I'll bet you made a prototype, or somebody made a prototype of it.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of being in this sport is, being able to be involved in the product development and the design. if you've been around for a while, you'll realize that I actually started where Rob is. I was at the Wilderness Systems. That was my first relationship in the paddle sports industry before they were owned by Pelican. They were owned by a holdings company called Confluence Outdoor before that. And so it was really cool we were actually the first fishing team. The first fishing team in kayak fishing was the Wilderness Systems fishing team. And Scott Knoll was the first team manager. And if you go look at that old team Wilderness Systems, it literally is some of the original who's who of kayak fishing. And to give credit where credit's due, a little bit of a tiny kayak fishing history lesson. Wilderness Systems really was the first brand that believed in the angler specific models that wasn't just a flush mount rod holder stuck on an already existing boat. They put the tracks on the boat when we recommended it. They put the sacrificial keel, the removable pod, the sliding seat. There was the first ever sliding seat that went fore and aft, and a whole bunch of other little tiny things that are just almost taken for granted now, that's on every fishing kayak out there. That started with Wilderness Systems. And so it's kind of awesome to see them come out with a new boat. They've been a little bit flat for a few years. So seeing them come to ICAST and win Best of Show and get to do a little flex, and then seeing Rob start to create the content that he's creating, it's almost like a little bit kind of sucks a little bit that you got two professional content creators going head to head in round one. It's like number one and number two going against each other in the damn first round.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say something here. To make it fair, I drew names out of a hat.
I get it. I'm just saying it's a little bit.
It's just fate.
It's a little bit. We got some other ones out there, but when you got two guys that do it full time, it kind of sucks that we're going heads up first round. But hey, let's get punched in the nose, and
it doesn't suck. And you're going to be involved throughout the whole time, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it's that's the way the cookie crumbles right now. So let's see who can kick whose ass.
And look, when I made that post about Rob kicking that puppy, bring up that old thing.
Wait a minute. There's a lot of people that probably don't know what you're talking about. So explain that, Chad.
Well, I've got a jacked up sense of humor. So when I made my
Wait a minute, Rob, did you see this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now
he actually shared one of my posts on one of the groups for DIY kayaking.
Yeah.
He shared that, and he added a little puppy kick in there. I was gonna get my dog and tape up his leg and it happens every now and then.
Okay, so let the audience know here what you're talking about, because some of them might not know.
So I saw Rob post it first, so I grabbed the post and shared it, and then I figured hey, if we're gonna do the shots fired thing, might as well get this thing started the right way. So I shared his post, and I put, "Hey guys, I would appreciate your vote in the YakOff Awards from Kayak Angler. I think this is great, even if you don't vote for me. And I want you to vote for me because you want to vote for me, not that you're voting against Rob because he kicked that puppy. And trust me, the puppy is okay, mostly, or something like that." And then people are DMing me on the side going, "Dude, did this guy really kick the puppy?" I'm like, yes, or otherwise I wouldn't post it now. I'm like, no, it was a full-grown dog. I just said puppy to make it seem worse.
There you go.
No, it's total just BSing, just having some fun. It's called the YakOff Awards. If we're supposed to be serious during something called YakOff Awards,
it's about fun.
We're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
Now, the other video that I had was me trying to clip on a man bun to make fun of him, but I just kept clipping it on and it just kept falling off.
Use some super glue.
Exactly. I just couldn't get it to stick. So.
Oh man. Okay, let's take a look at let's take a look at Rob's here for a second.
Rob English here with my submission to Kayak Angler Magazine's YakOff Awards. I want to give you a little walkthrough of my Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128. Come have a look. So let's start with our motors. Up front, I'm running the XI3 from Motor Guide. I have that wired into a NEMA 2000 network into the Lowrance Elite 9. I'm also running the Lowrance Pinpoint GPS module. This module gives you a more accurate spot lock, also helps you stay on track when you're running routes. On the stern, I'm running the Torpedo Travel Adventure package. What I really like this package is the new Torpedo throttle has the backlit LCD. It's great for night fishing, a lot easier to see all your information. Powering my Lowrance unit, I have two Noqua 20 amp hour batteries paired together. This gives me 40 amp hours on the water. I also have another 10 amp hour Noqua battery for my GoPros.
Now, guys, I just want you to know, people that are out there that are going to be listening to this eventually as well, that we want you to watch the video because there's a lot of good stuff in these. And the thing that impressed me even more, Rob, was how organized your shop is.
I tried everything in my life's chaos besides my fishing area and my kayak.
Yeah, yeah.
And the truck. The truck stays neat too for the first ride out, then because everything is thrown in on the way back.
Yeah.
So Rob actually went down to Florida not too long ago, and that's where you were planning on doing that walk around, right?
Yeah.
And then the weather kind of sucked.
Yeah, the weather was. I got left for Florida. It was nice. Got to Florida on a Saturday. We had a 3-day shoot day. It was 45 to 50 down by Headwaters Lake, and raining the first day. So 12-hour shoot day in the rain.
Yeah.
Drizzle the next couple of days. Said we had guys in the water filming. It was. Like Chatterpie does this too. Like it's filming these kind of things. Like it's just experience. It's a lot of I do video production for a job, so it's a lot of standing around, looking like you're fishing, trying to fish, getting those shots and getting all the product shots, detail shots.
But I will say when you guys release that boat, what next? When is it?
The 7th is the official. You can pick them up from the dealer on the 7th,
Okay.
March 7th.
March 7th, but there's some awesome photos that I've seen of Rob and his cameraman in the water, alligator infested waters, taking pictures of Rob with a fish goggle, like a lens or whatever, fisheye lens, and Rob up there fishing or pretending to fish because it was pretty shitty weather.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see some of that.
It was pretty. That was pretty intense because I research. I'm a inshore guy. I don't fish freshwater. Only right now in the wintertime we're doing white perch and maybe a lake here and there. But I'm starting on Saturday, March 1st is striper season for us. So 12 a.m. I'm going to be out there. It's going to be about 30 degrees, night fishing, looking for stripers on the river. But this guy's out there in this cold water. I couldn't. Alligators and shit. And he's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's cold. The water's cold. They're not that active right now. I'm like, better you than me.
Wow. And then we just want to tell people too that some of the things they have on there are all listed below and where you can buy them from. And both of you have a huge list here of things you've got on your kayak. Let me ask. So we talked a lot. Like last week, Chad, your son was talking about some of the cost of this. What if I were to go put together a kayak like you've got, Chad? What do you think the value is going to be by the time I get there? If I just said, okay, I'm splurging right now, how much?
I'm not as
different than Austin.
I'm not as expensive as Austin because he's the young guy that's got to have everything. My XTR will come in at a higher build cost than this one does. A lot of people say that you get but you get it free, and there's no better person here than this dude over here. That guy that can tell you it ain't free because you're out there working your ass off for it, filming from before daylight till after dark, and then you're going back to the hotel room and wherever you're staying, and you're downloading footage for 2 hours and getting batteries on charge and then doing that thing over again. Yep. So for every person that's ever thought that you get something free because you're in media and the outdoors, I invite them to come fishing with me, and they'll tap on day 2 and go back to their life of sitting on the internet behind a keyboard. So I respect the fact that people, the hell out of people that are doing it because I live it. But the build cost on that boat was about $7,800, 7,800. I don't have a buttload of craziness on there. I've got the boat, the motor, a couple of mounts, and one graph. Now, I had double graphs and a bunch of crazy stuff, but a lot like Rob, I do like the 0.1. In a kayak, we tend to move a little bit more than your boats do, and so to keep your graph from doing this the whole time you're out there, and to get the best possible waypoints, having that 0.1 magnetic compass on there, which adds a couple $100 to the price. So about $7,800 would be, I think, was what I calculated up what that build cost would be. Not counting my rods and tackle, but yeah, about 7,800. And that's down to the kayak cushions and the Yak Attack black pack and the side or the track packs and all the little stuff on there. So yeah, a little under $8,000.
What do you think, Rob? On yours, what would you think that a guy?
The way mine's set up now, with everything on it, probably close to like 10.
Yeah.
Between the kayak, you got a troll motor up front, troll motor up back. Got the Dakota batteries there.
Yeah.
$1,200-$1,500 a pop. All the other batteries, every little thing adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And luckily, you said, like, I have sponsors and stuff, and some of them you get 40% off. Some of them you get, here's this, and use this in your videos, use this in your things. We'll trade off for, like Chad's saying, if we're getting stuff free, it's not free. It's right. You got to go out, you got to film it, edit it, make it look good.
Yeah.
It takes up a lot of your time.
The time you put into it. Yeah.
But one thing I will say, if you look at the cost of both of our boats, if we move on to a different boat, the cost of is amortized over the lifetime of fishing, because you can take your motors with you, both the bow and the stern. You can take a lot of accessories. And so, base boat costs for both of our kayaks are, I think, exactly the same. Right around $2,000. So, when people start making these conversations about just buy a boat or just buy a John boat or whatever, what they don't understand is that you got to buy all that stuff to make the John boat fishable too. And then you got a less capable watercraft, loud, susceptible to the wind, hard to transport, not maneuverable, all those things. But again, most of that stuff, if we, buy another fishing kayak in the future, a lot of that stuff's going to move over. So you're not eating that cost, for just that kayak, using a lot of that stuff for the life of the boat.
And the other thing though,
or you're fishing.
25 years ago, I bought a Wilderness System 135 ride for $1,000. Really, if you think about it, that's a long time ago. And you think about inflation, this is like the XTR. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So you're getting both those boats for like $18.99. Like the New Canoe Unlimited too. They're all around that price, right?
Yeah. I did a video about this about a month ago. For all the people that are complaining kayak fishing is getting too expensive, when I started kayak fishing in '96, so that's 30 years ago, there were less fishing kayaks under $1,000 than there are now. And if you adjust for inflation, like the Ride, which was my primary boat, it was the first boat I helped Wilderness redesign. We went from one version of the Ride. I helped redesign the first version and the second version of it before we went to the Radar and the Recon and some of those other boats. But that boat was like $1,300 21 years ago. I mean, if you adjust that for inflation, that's more expensive than these kayaks we're buying today that are more advanced. But, not always in the world of economics does trickle down actually work. Sometimes it's a theory. But in the world of kayak fishing, that trickle down effect does work. I had been kayak fishing probably 18, 19 years before I got off of a kayak where I was sitting on the plastic on a piece of thin ass foam, you know what I mean? Or on a boat cushion. And now you got rudimentary entry level boats for like $8.99 to $11.99 that come with frame seats, rigid handles, hatches, all that stuff that you just didn't get on a fishing kayak unless you bought a Hobie, all those years ago. And now is literally the best time to be in the sport of kayak fishing. There's more options. There's more availability. There's more things that are accepted. Bassmaster has a kayak series.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's crazy. We did a series with FLW a few years ago, and it just kind of wasn't my cup of tea. So I was hoping somebody would pick up that upper echelon tournament series thing and run with it. And it's here.
Yeah.
Also, Chad, if you look at the relative quality and of the products, like, if you look back in the day when you're mounting these rod holders with rivets through this plastic with no intentional place to install things, you're kind of, now you talk about there's more value relatively for the cost of the components, these accessories and these upgrades, and even the boats too. The watercrafts were not intentionally designed to be fished off of way back in the day until the first fishing kayak was made, right? And then they've gotten progressively better. The plastics and the composites have gotten better. The mounting solutions have gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And relatively, if you take into consideration inflation, like, you are getting so much more value out of what you're purchasing to get into the sport these days. Like, your base entry level setup is going to be leaps and bounds better, more robust, more rugged, more effective on the water than what you were buying years ago when converting essentially a touring kayak into a fishing platform. Like, there's a whole category that's been developed over the last couple decades.
I mean, little simple stuff like 15 years ago, every fishing kayak had a cloth handle with that rubber grip over it on the front, and it was inevitable that you're going to set the rod down between your legs and get a hook hooked in it, and you pretty much got to get out the boat, and half the time you got to cut that down there. So, like, rigid handles on boats wasn't even a thing 10 years ago, like, not on like every kayak. And not to pick on Hobie, they're just in the spotlight now. Everybody's had their turn in the barrel with, like, cracking kayaks. But reliability, because I'll tell you something. 25 years ago, every kayak cracked.
Mm-hmm.
Every kayak. It wasn't a matter of whether or not it was going to crack. It was where and how bad, right? And then the manufacturer's like, hey, warranty was a year. Thank God. Get yourself a welding gun. We'll send you a welding rod. We'll send you the cutout holes for where the flush mounts are made. And, good luck. So the customer service has gone through the roof. The reliability has gone through the roof. I remember when rotomolding kayaks was like, now they're using sonograms and, thick hole thickness testers and stuff, and doing 25 and 3-point checks on the holes and just crazy stuff that you like. Dude, when we first started kayak fishing, you were putting crab pot buoys on PVC pipe into rod holders to give it a little extra stability, not so that you won't flip, so that you might not flip, because you were still probably going to flip. And so, yeah, dude, the whole, like, the way that we're going right now is we're about to hit a whole nother gear, though, because the next phase is trimmable motors, where the motor's trimming in and out and trimming up and down, variable pitch props, things that really take it to the next level, because there's only so much you can do with a kayak hull. A lot of people don't know this because I play a fat redneck on TV, but I'm actually an aeronautical engineer. I got I went to school at Embry-Riddle. I spent 20 years in aviation and then in Navy. I understand fluid dynamics and hydrodynamics and all that kind of stuff, which is why I've been involved in design in the background forever. But there's only so much you can do with the performance of a displacement hull. And if you go to planing hulls, you lose a little bit of what makes a kayak great. Like, for example, you go to a John boat, you're out there spinning like a top in the wind. You're at the mercy. You got too much gun, things like that. But there's still a world of opportunity for prop design and trim and, changing the height of the motor going up and down while you're going, out in the water in a fishing kayak. Think about it like this. Do you see any bass boats or saltwater boats without a jack plate on them these days? No. Well, jack plates are coming to fishing kayaks. Bow mount trim is coming to fishing kayaks. Like all of that stuff is coming, and I'm for it. You know what I mean? But I also like to just grab a small lightweight boat and drag it in the woods and go fishing with two rods and a bag of plastics or two frogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
Yeah, same thing. I have a range of kayaks I use for different, like for inshore stuff. We have our back bays. I use like the new Tactical Pros, but going to be my back bay boat, doing long distances, covering lots of area. I use a Recon for beating into the rocks, going fishing bridges and jetties and things like that. But it just from the time that I started, which was only been doing this about 10 years. We've got 10 years ago, I bought a old used PA 14. Had to put it on a car because I landed a pickup truck with no heat. So trying to figure out how to keep myself warm so I can get something to fit in my car. And went over to went with Wilderness, got involved with them to make it easier to load up and things. But yeah, just the way I never in my life thought I'd have a kayak I have now. It's ridiculous. Like there's so much you can do with these things. And she said it keeps progressing and progressing and progressing. Like Chad was just saying, I was watching a video of some guys working on doing like got a hydraulic ram shaft from something attached to his rear trolling motor so he can adjust the trim on it. For freshwater guys, you can play around these a little more. The saltwater just eats everything up, so you can't do these little guys building these component boxes and doing all their own electronics and things like that. With me, it's just you go out. I put on a USB port in my kayak. That next day, it's trashed. As soon as you get splashed with salt water, everything's trashed. So it's a lot harder on the fishing the inshore. It's definitely a lot harder on the electronics, but it's just something I love doing. It's just if I'm not at work, like my normal thing is I'll fish. We're starting back up now because it's getting warmer, but I work 40 hours a week doing video production. 30 nights a week, I'll go fishing from 10 o'clock to about 2, 3 in the morning, come home, go to work. Then weekends, I get my full day in the sunlight fishing. But in between that, instead of just rigging things up, seeing what else we could do with the kayaks, what we can add to it from what it already came. Like, they come designed, laid out pretty well, but it's like there's always something you can add to it. Drilling holes here, running different tubes,
because playing with it and rigging it up and screwing around to make it your own is just as much fun as getting it on the water and fishing.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
That's like I have some old YouTube videos, just like Chat, on there about making a handle or making a stern light. And I was drilling holes in my Emotion. People are like, you're nuts. What are you drilling? But I had my goop ready to put on. Sorry, Chat. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to contradict what he said. I mean, it's fun, but it's not just as much fun.
Not just as fun, yeah.
It is fun tinkering, though. I've been doing that the past week here at home, putting decals on, but trying to figure out what's the best placement for things before I get on the water, because you don't want to have to do it on the water. Because sometimes,
yeah.
And also, Chad, I got to say, like, you're down in Alabama. The weather is a lot nicer all year round.
Yeah.
If I don't like tinkering with my kayak, I don't have much to do in the winter time up here. Right.
Well, look, when we make you guys the 51st state, we'll add in heat in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Like put a dome, just put a dome over Canada or something. I think you're with the new KBF regional. Maybe you should have a northern section and just call it region 50. Is it called Region 51?
Yeah, exactly what it's called. Before we get too far gone and I forget to say this, I want to actually say something that I think like really needs to be said about this sport. Okay. And, even though kayak fishing does have its little components of toxicity and we have our rivalries and we have some of the same drama that the rest of fishing has. I still think that kayak fishing is the best like subset of fishing that there is, both on the personal side and on the professional side. And I'm even going to give a shout out to the dude down here that's, below, that's sponsoring this whole video. I actually reached out to them and said, "Hey, I'd like to do a Newport versus Torpedo video, and if you're interested." And they're like, "Absolutely," and sent me the motors to do a comparison. And I called Torpedo and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this comparison," and they were like, "Absolutely." And the beautiful thing about that is you put the information out there to the consumer to say, here's the pros and here's the cons of each brand. Here's the
Make
pros
your decision.
of each, suite of products, and you make the decision on what works best for you. But the point I wanted to get at was that in that testing process, I had a demo unit from both companies that I went out and absolutely beat the shit out of, because the goal was to test reliability. And I only had a month to do it because I was trying to get all of the data together to get that video out during the time when people were making their purchasing decisions. And I couldn't break either motor. 10, 15 years ago, I could break every motor from every brand. And so what's crazy is how much reliability has been built into this product line, both kayaks, the motors, the electronics, everything that we use these days is so much more reliable. And innovation, again, I just keep saying this, innovation, leads to competition, and competition means we all win. But that freaking battery pack they just came out with, when I got to see it at ICAST last year, is like, damn, that's badass, So what people forget a lot of times, and you see this in the forums, especially from people that are kind of just getting started in the game of being a pro staffer, is they think that their job is to crap on the other brands as much as they try to promote their own. And nothing could be further from the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so I love the fact that Newport and Wilderness are investing in guys like Ike and Ellie to take our promotion of our sport to even like the next level, right? And I like the fact that we can all like work together, even if we're not exactly on 100% of the same team. We don't have the same sponsorships. We don't have the same relationships. And I'm not kidding you, man. This is not some set up thing. But when I spoke to Howie on the phone, I was like, "Hey, man, is there anything you want me to say or not about the Newport Vessels motor?" He's like, "No, just what your real thoughts are." Same thing with the Ramel. When I spoke to Ramel, it's like, just use the motor, give us your feedback, say what you really think. And dude, it was like, that is such a refreshing thing, in my opinion, that we only have in kayak fishing. You don't see that shit happening
No.
in any other vertical of the sport, and you don't even see it happening in any other industry. You know what I'm saying? So
authenticity is like, as a brand manager, I want an authentic voice out in the kayak fishing community about Newport, right? It helps us collect feedback, helps us be inspired. I mean, we've got some really long-term experience on the product development side. Our product steering committee has literally more than 100 years of on the water experience in designing kayaks and all of this stuff, right? But it's not just our vision. It's feedback from the entire community. It's a collective vision, and that competition helps drive the innovation, like you've been saying, Chad. It's just the truth. Why would we not all want to kind of go head to head in a way that helps elevate the sport? Like that's the main goal here, right? Like it's at the foundation of everything is that kayak fishing community, and we got to just continue to foster that and continue to grab all these bits and pieces from not just significant long-term influential figures, but also your average guy or girl that's out kayak fishing. What do these people want? And provide a solution that's reliable and easy to use, and comes in at these different tiers and stuff. And so, like when we gave you those motors to test, and I say this to everybody I give product to test or to do reviews on, they say, what do you want me to say about it? I want your authentic feedback. The most important thing is authenticity, and you could feel that as the person consuming the content. So that's what I want from people like Chad or anybody else that, media, these people, anybody getting their hands on Newport stuff and the way they're talking about it. I just want them to authentically talk about the experience.
Yeah. And Howie, that's exactly.
And say, hey, we need to figure out how to make this better. That's the worst thing that can come out of it, right? It's like,
well, look,
we'll do our job on the side of like keeping customers happy. That's our thing. We'll do that on the Newport side. But as far as like product innovation goes, and the way Newport's perceived, I just want people to feel the authenticity. That's it.
Plus, too, you don't. Well, I like about the same in the community. Like, you're not stuck with one thing. You get options. You're not just stuck with one motor. You can choose this motor. You can try that motor. See what these guys are saying. What fits you and what you're going to do. What you're going to do with it. That's it. I started out surf fishing, and everybody's just blah blah blah. There's so much childish complaining between guys with kayaks. It's whenever we do like saltwater tournaments, we'll have 5-6 guys literally shoulder to shoulder fishing the same spot. People come in, like everybody's just like it's never a competition. It's always just we're out there to have fun no matter what.
Yeah.
Especially on our side. Like it's just that's what I like about the kayak thing. You can go out and fish with the guys. There's not a lot of drama, at least with things that I've been involved with, but mostly you can go by yourself, which is I like because I'm not the talker. Not the big talking guy. I'm not like really like I like being by myself, quiet, thinking like just fishing and focusing on not getting knocked over by a wave in the inlet and getting hit by a boat or something. It's just you're just relaxed and focused on what you're doing.
It is safer to fish with a buddy, but I really like fishing not around other people.
Exactly.
When I have time to go fishing, I'll wait a couple weeks and maybe I'll post something on social media, and I'll get a text from somebody. It'd be nice to invite your friends or something, and then I just text back this like ninja emoji.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. But Chad, you had a light bulb go off. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to finish making the point that I really appreciated the fact that you guys sent those motors, because it was allowing me to answer my fans, my community members legitimately when they asked me the questions about the different variations. And it was a leap of faith for a company to send product to a guy that's historically been known as the guy for the other brand, the competition with Torqeedo. And, and even on Torqeedo's side, I called them up and said, hey, I'm going to do a comparison video. Mm-hmm. They were like, okay. I mean, I didn't really ask them. I kind of told them, and they were like, yeah, sounds good. But the light bulb was that Howie just referred to is there's a lot of people that say they don't care what you say. And there's a lot of people that say whatever you authentically believe, and they don't really mean it. Because when you do say something they don't like, they're the first ones to lash out. And I heard back from Newport almost immediately after I released a series of, shorts and then the longer video, like, yeah, dude, that was pretty spot on. So thanks. You know what I mean? And there are quite a few people that became customers of Newport because it fit their style of fishing better. One of them you just popped his comment up. He was, 50-50, and he went with the new, because it fit the fishing style that he has better. And so for me, I think that if you have a consumer that you convince to buy something that isn't what they want, and they end up having buyer's remorse, they're going to talk about that for the rest of their life and crap all over that product because you sold it to them at all cost. I remember when Jackson Kayak only had the Kusa, and all of these brand new pro staffers were on every forum. We called it drinking the Kool-Aid back then. And somebody would be like, hey, what do you think the best surf launching kayak is for offshore fishing? And some clown would be on there, Jackson Kusa. You're like, dude,
No.
you know what I mean? And it was because it was the only thing they had to sell, and they were trying really hard to sell it. And they couldn't just lean into what their strengths are. And I think that we've kind of moved way past that. So I just truly appreciate the transparency, the approach that Newport's had to coming into the space, and also like being respectful, not coming in and trying to trash any other brand. You don't see that, and that's good because that's not how everybody comes into the sport. And so, for whatever it's worth,
I have a question note for all you guys too. Do you notice that how you might know more about this too? Are tournament type anglers buying motors, or is the general population as well putting motors on kayaks? Because most of the time, what I see here where I live in the Midwest, the only ones that have the motors are the tournament anglers, and there's a trickle of others that have motors, but they put them together like an old trolling motor. They took it apart, cut it off, and made their own. What do you guys see?
I will say that, and I know Chad can attest to this too. Motorizing kayaks is something that was validated by the core group of people that were tournament anglers. That is not our main customer by any means.
Right.
Our main customer is your average angler, right? The tournament anglers validated this whole concept of making it okay to motorize kayaks. And so we see those people are as being the leaders of the sport, and maybe not always the biggest social media following or whatever, but truly influential on the community level. Like, you've got guys that, you know, there's people out there who I would hands down give a motor to because I know it's more impactful and it's going to bleed a lot further than somebody who's got 100,000 Instagram followers, right? There's the power of the community in the sport of kayak fishing is just incredible. And so tournament anglers validated and drove this whole progression. But your average weekend warrior type that's the bread and butter customer. That's the bulk of who is purchasing kayak motors and powering their kayaks.
Well, what's interesting is, for instance, I was on Caddo last fall on that the Bassmaster, and I go to this cove and I'm like, oh man, there's not very many back here, and it's a good area. And pretty soon there's a whole bunch of guys coming in, and you know what I'm going to say, Chad?
It's the story of my life.
Yeah. So, but the thing is there's a guy on a spot I wanted to get on, and he's just hammering the bass, and I thought, well, I'm just going to see who that is because he doesn't look familiar. And I start talking to him. He's a guy not even in a tournament, and he's out there all decked out in his kayak, and he's slaying bass on the spot I wanted to get on. But in the older days, many years ago, if you saw a kayaker, he was a guy in the tournament. Now you're seeing more not in the tournaments than you do in the tournament. Does that make sense? And they've got a guy you'll see. I think that comes from us being out there as leaders. And then people see us and they go, I'm going to make mine like that. Where'd you get that at? And I think that sells a lot there too. Don't you think?
I'll tell you something funny. Last year I was fishing in a tournament here in North Alabama, and I round the corner and I pull up into this cove, and there's another tournament competitor there. And I said, any luck? Yeah, man, I got 88. That's the standard. Tournament jargon, right? Another guy comes around the corner. The other guy leaves, and I'm still sitting in there. The other guy pulls in, and I was like, had any luck? He said, yeah, I got 5. I said, how many inches? He said, what? I said, how many inches do you have? He said, shit, I don't know. I said, oh, are you not fishing in the tournament? He's like, no, what tournament? I was like, oh, cool. So he's got like a fully rigged out kayak or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a nice kayak, man. How long you been kayak fishing? And I was like a minute, like 30 years. Get the hell out of here, dude. Holy crap. Whatever. And we started having a conversation, and he motions me over, and I go over there. I introduce myself. He introduced himself. He's like, cool, man. He said, well, look, dude, if you ever want to go fishing sometime, man, just hit me up or whatever. Like, dude had no idea who I was. He didn't know what KBF was. He didn't know what tournaments were. He just got into kayak fishing and was just out there doing it. And I love that. I think that's
So Chad, did you pull out one of your books autographed out of your black pack?
I stuck it under the windshield.
Hand it over.
I stuck it under the windshield wiper of his truck. No,
I met a guy too, also Chad, on Susquehanna, an older gentleman in his 80s. And he was out there, and I thought he was in a tournament, American flag off the back. And so I just went up, started talking to him. And he was actually a veteran. And his wife had passed away about 2 or 3 years before. He was in, I said, how long have you had that kayak? He goes, I know, a long time. He had a Wilderness 135. This is 2 years ago in the Susky. And he was still floating that thing all this time. Had no idea there was even a tournament going on. All he said to me was, he goes, you're the first guy that's ever stopped and talked to me. he's up, and he was paddling the Susky.
But I'll tell you where I see more people, more often than not that are just enthusiastic, but they don't even know there's a greater kayak fishing community out there as the river guys, the river rats.
Yeah.
Man, I see some of them guys, they've been like, they don't give a crap about anything but catching fish from a kayak, and they do their thing, and then they keep to themselves, and I love it. But I'm like Howie. I'm so on all the time that being able to go fishing and like not invite somebody, not have to coordinate meetup time, not have to worry about filming that's my like don't punch people in the throat like thing. Like, that's how I'm from killing people, because otherwise, I might end up with a mug shot. So I like fishing with other people, but I also like fishing alone a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. And I like being alone a lot, and at night. Nobody's out.
I literally just posted about it 2 days ago. Yeah. Like, I'm so ready for night fishing again. And because you just kind of have it to yourself.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, people can't really see you, so they don't bother you. You know what I mean?
That was my first thing. I got my first kayak. It was a set of PA 14. I picked it up. It was around the winter time. It was colder out. I'm like, I want to take this out. So I went down to the river. First time in the kayak, I was fishing the river, tidal river for stripers in a PA 14. That's nice. I'd never been in it. I'm like, I'll go figure this out. But I'm coming from racing dirt bikes and all kinds of other stuff. So like kayak, I was like, you fall in the water. It's not gonna hurt.
And I'll tell you the other thing I really enjoy. I really enjoy taking somebody, especially veterans, who've never been kayak fishing, and don't build it up. Don't overhype it. Just, hey, meet me here. Let's go fishing. You put them in the boat, and you just kind of act like the guide and kind of hang back and say, hey, go this way, do this, cast over there. Mm-hmm. And just watching the light bulb come on for how awesome kayak fishing is. You know what I mean? Watching them set the hook, and they catch like a 3-pounder that's like turning their nose around and spinning them, and they get it to the side of the boat, and it kicks water all over them, and they're like, dude, this is awesome. Like, yeah.
I started doing some guiding, and we do a lot of sheepshead and stuff. That's big in our area. And guys, I want to catch sheepshead. They're hard to catch, and it takes a lot of work, but the guys out there, they cast over there, try that, do this. They pull one up, and they're just the happiest they're ever getting. Like, it makes their whole entire year, and that's what I really enjoy about it. And teaching and showing them how to do this. And just my biggest thing is just getting guys out that haven't fished in tidal waters, fished in back bays and inlet, and just be there to help them and let them feel more comfortable, because people they're just nervous about it.
And Robert, I'll tell you something else that's awesome, dude. it feels almost as good as like helping an old lady across the street. Take a Canadian fishing, dude. If you take one of those guys fishing, oh my god,
Man,
it's
you
like
guys,
cherry.
you guys talk about like getting out there, going fishing by yourself, and going at night because you like to be by yourself. We can go during the day here and buy. Only people I'm with are my buddies that are with me.
You have more bears than you have people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I get the Columbia River to myself catching massive trout, and
Not here.
you
So much.
guys you guys tune in June, middle of June.
Yeah.
Chad's going to be coming up with me to Sea Otter Lodge in Kayakjak, BC, on Vancouver Island.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
We're going to be catching some salmon and lingcod and halibut.
that'd be nice.
You're gonna see Chad kayak fishing in a different realm.
Summertime for us, it's just if you're on the water past like 11 a.m., it's 40-foot center consoles blasting back and forth all over the place.
Yeah.
Nobody's jet skis everywhere. Nobody's even. You got these 40-foot boats like just there's not one rod on them. They're going back and forth from bar to bar.
I can drive downtown in Revelstoke where I live and float for about 6 hours downstream fishing for trout. And if I don't take someone with me, I'll be by myself the entire time.
Wow, that's incredible. So I have one question here for you guys. When you went to go do your build for your kayak, was it based on what you came up with, or did you see ideas from other people and put them together? What was the direction there, I guess?
For mine, it's with the Tactical Pro. That was it. I got the demo model about probably 3 months ago, and it's just got the boat here, looked at it, and just started figuring out what am I going to put on. Like I'm not as much as I'm involved in the community. I'm still kind of like towards myself, and I don't really follow what other things do. Just whatever fits my needs.
Yeah.
And then building around that, building firewalls, doing the wiring, Neiman networks, and all that silly stuff. Like you don't need that thing like but it just things you can do, and it makes my day easier. And like what Howie was saying, we talking about Howie about the motors. Like most guys are setting these up because they get to fish once every month or twice every month. They want to make the most time they can out of that one day to get that. Where we do it, we're going to get the most out of that one time. That we want to get the most out of those 3 or 4 days doing it. But for most people, they get their one time their Sunday out they get to do.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's similar to a lot to what Rob said. Because I'm involved in the design process and the validation of the watercraft process, and I'm, testing the boats, I have to do a lot of the figuring out along the way before the product's ready for the consumer. But I'll be honest, Austin's been doing it so long. 25 years old. He's been kayak fishing since he was 2. Had his own kayak since he was 4. The dude's got like 20 plus years experience. So he's grown up around me. Then he got into a commercial electric. And so he's really good at the electrical stuff. And so the two of us really kind of geek out and get in there and like, I'll give you an example. Somebody commented on something on one of his videos. I don't think he's here. Somebody commented about something on one of his videos. And today he put his entire black pack out, ordered a whole new black pack so he could rewire it so he could fix that one thing that somebody commented. That's how much of an anal perfectionist he is when it comes to rigging. But like now they make computer walls and programs and NEMA bulkheads and stuff. I was making those out of like black pack side pieces of old black packs that I had, doing stuff like that. And so because of that, I've literally gotten to be, really good at rigging the boats because I get to do it so often, and I've gotten to come up with like a bunch of ideas. So we made an idea. I made a post about the short stack from Yak Attack, and some guy, and this is not a dig at Wilderness Systems, but some guy goes, "Oh, you copied Wilderness Systems with that." I was like, technically I didn't, because I came up with that idea when I was at Wilderness Systems. So I actually just copied myself. So, but a lot of it's just basic, I'll give you a straight up kind of fall on the sword thing. I get credit for a lot of innovations that I brought into kayak fishing, but like 95% of them were stuff I just copied straight from aviation, right? I was in aviation, cockpits. If the seat don't adjust, you can't have a different airplane for every different height of pilot. And you can't have pilots that are only like 5'8" to 5'9.5". So you have to make them adjust. So I started saying, let's make these kayaks do what airplanes do. Let's make them trim. Let's do this and let's do that. And it's just turned out to be like one of the biggest like joys of what I do. I truly do. And I was joking with Keith about it earlier. I genuinely do enjoy the rigging and the figuring out stuff process.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I do the fishing part a lot of times, but I like when you're on the water and all your rigging is so well thought out and clean that you've learned all these lessons over the years that your boat, you wear it like a backpack, which is how you fly an airplane. You strap into an airplane and you wear it like a backpack. You know what I mean? You're intimately, you know, turning that boat. And I think that's the part that people just don't quite understand about the difference between a kayak and a boat. It's like some Harleys cost more or some motorcycles cost more than a car, but you don't say to them, oh, you should just buy a car. You can get a Geo Metro for the price of that thing. Well, nobody wants a damn Geo Metro or a Nissan Juke or whatever the car is at that same price because they want a damn motorcycle. And that's why we want kayaks, because of the experience, you know?
Because it's an extension of yourself.
Exactly.
Out on the water and what you're doing. And one of my favorite things, everyone always talks about Austin and his like souped up craziness. But one of the coolest things that I watched about that video that Austin did, he's like, man, I don't drink. I don't party. This is my thing. I'll eat ramen for a month. He said that in that video, Chad. He's like, I'll sit down and eat ramen for a month so I can get what I want to make my kayak my own, which is pretty freaking awesome.
That's awesome.
Dude, he comes home today and he goes, hey, can I, you know,
Dad, do you want some ramen?
What's payday looking like? You know, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, damn, dude, you broke already? He's like, yeah, I went ahead and ordered the this and that and the other. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to buy that. We get that as part of our contract. Yeah. Well, I know, but I wanted to go ahead and get it. I didn't want to wait.
It gets it faster. Yeah.
Couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Wow. So. All right. So we got to do the weekly.
We
match.
do.
Yeah. So it's like UFC, guys. You're going to have you guys face each other, you pose, and then Keith's going to take a screenshot of it.
I'm going to take a screenshot of you guys going fisticuffs in your screens here.
Is it like this?
We've got it. We've done it every week.
Yeah. There, oh, yeah. That's awesome. That's good.
Okay, wait.
Stay
wow,
there.
you guys are the first ones that got it right off the bat.
That's awesome.
Pros,
hey, wait.
baby.
That's awesome.
I didn't do it yet. I just got it lined up.
Oh,
Let's go. Pull your hands back a bit this way, Chad.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Ready?
That's awesome.
Perfect. Okay. This is going to be in the YakOff's calendar.
Man, wait till
take my shirt off first. Calendar, take my shirt off.
Wait till y'all see the Photoshop picture of Rob kicking that puppy tomorrow, though.
I was thinking about doing some AI Chad photos of it.
Yeah.
Hey, bring it, baby. Bring it. I'm ready.
Yeah. Guys, it's Wednesday tomorrow. Pump it out there. Get it out. Let's go.
Yeah. Howie, got anything else?
I'm good. This has been entertaining.
Yeah. It always
this
is.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, we actually have a lot of people that get on like the next day or 2 days after. They tell me they're driving to work or whatever to listen and stuff like that. But we've gotten quite a bit of people intrigued by this whole thing. So there you go.
What do we got sitting in the comments here, Marty? How many people? What should we give something away or what?
Yeah, well, we got a few on here. I just want to thank people like Corey Whitchurch, Gene Campbell, Jeremy Baker, JT Hickman, Tanya. Tanya's back.
Tanya's back. She won.
Do we have a prize? How like a pair of Newport motors or something.
Wait, I thought Howie was giving away 2 motors tonight. I thought he was giving away a
New
180
battery.
100.
Free motors for everyone.
Yeah.
No, but we are providing a part of the grand prize, so
Yeah.
that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're doing a motor and a battery as part of the grand prize.
Yeah.
But for tonight, you guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Howie.
I mean, I'm happy to pitch in some, swag or whatever. I don't know.
Here we go.
I didn't necessarily come expecting.
No, you don't need to do that. We have them.
We have them.
Yeah, no, we got Mike from D Hooker that you guys saw poke himself last week on this very show. He graciously gave another D Hooker tool for tonight, and Chad and Jake from Guardian Angel offered another kayak light set. So we could do it.
Prizes?
We could do 2 prizes if we want to do 2 questions. How about this? Let me throw 1 question for Rob and 1 question for Chad out to the audience. Rob, throw out a question that you said tonight that somebody might be able to answer based on your boat or anything.
Wait a second. It's the first one it answers. First one it answers.
Yeah. First one that answers on any question Rob throws out there gets a D Hooker tool. And then Chad, first one that answers the question you throw out there, gets a Guardian Angel kayak light set.
There we go.
What kind of question here?
Whatever you want to, something you talked about tonight that people might have listened to. Or just a random fishing question, kayak question.
We just went up to 110 people from like 10.
Let Chad go first while I think this up. He's got the talking voice. The question.
What breed of puppy did Rob get that I keep mentioning in my Facebook post?
Did Rob kick?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Let's ask an OG question. Like
there you go.
We good with that?
Yeah, totally.
What year?
So this is for a Guardian Angel kayak light kit. Chad has one there probably. Comes in the box. There you go. That
the winner happens to be a KBF member. I'll double it and give them an additional kayak light kit from Guardian Angel.
Wow.
So here's the question. What year? Here, I'll write it on this piece of cardboard first so that nobody can act like I faked it.
All right, there you go. And before you say this, Chad, who would maybe want 2 Guardian Angel light kits? Anybody, because those lights can be used on anything.
Yeah.
My kid puts it on his bicycle, on his shoulder. My wife uses it jogging. Like, they're used for everything.
I'll tell you what else it's good for. Let's just say you maybe have a lighting wiring problem or some crap with your onboard lights, or you go fishing with a buddy who doesn't have a light. They're great to keep in the truck for that extra light. All right, so here we go. Those
lights also are magnetized, so you can stick it on your truck to load your kayak.
Absolutely. What year was KBF founded? What year was KBF founded?
I wrote it down.
We're not allowed to answer, Marty. You can't answer.
Just for me.
Are you checking the comments? Is that how you're picking the winner?
Yeah.
All right. So has anybody answered it correctly, or do you actually know?
Nobody's answered yet, but they're on here.
Nobody's answered it at all.
Here we go. Stacy Jordan. Here we go. Stacy Jordan. Is that right?
No.
Oh, nope.
Nope.
It was way. I can't say.
Way off. I mean, not way off, but off for sure.
Come on, guys. Don't be afraid to answer. It's for a light kit.
Just keep guessing.
Maybe if they can't answer it, we just go back to Rob, and then Rob has to ask his question, and then we can go.
Tanya.
I figured about it.
96?
That's when I started kayak fishing, but that's not when KBF was founded.
That's when he started kayak fishing, and I started two years after that, I remember. Or a year after that. About a year after that.
Should we get Howie to hum the Jeopardy theme? Like
No. Come on, you guys.
I figured out my question too.
I think I
All
might
right.
see one in there.
Nope.
So it's
Give him a
close.
range. Give him a range, Chad.
It's after 2001, but before 2015, which was the last two ones you put up. So
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Pick a number between.
Well,
all right, Rob,
We're trying to get some answers here. I'll do with my question is I
There you
mentioned
go.
like what my first kayak was that I started in.
oh,
That was said tonight.
I already said 2009.
that's correct.
2009? Well, Tanya got it.
Yay.
Tanya got it.
Stacy Jordan, it says.
I'm sorry. No, Tanya
Oh.
actually answered
Was
first.
first.
Okay, cool. You didn't put that one up, so I didn't see it. So
Okay,
that
but
is the correct answer.
There you go.
We had 3 correct answers, but Tanya had the first one.
All right.
Okay. All right. The other one is
I'll get that to you, Tanya.
you have her address probably there because she won something before, I think.
She did. She's a regular.
He's a regular, yeah. So the name of or the brand of the kayak, right?
Yep. My first kayak, what it was that I started in. I fish it night.
You fish at night. Anybody want to guess the brand of the kayak? Is it a common brand?
Oh, I know.
Yep.
No.
I didn't mention what year it was, but I mentioned what the kayak was.
You did.
It's literally one letter off from one of the dudes on this live's name.
That's a
And he used to work.
No one's answering it. Oh, here we go.
Nope.
No, it's
I
not.
don't see it yet.
I got that kayak. I took it out in the ocean.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, Tanya, it's close.
Close. Yeah, I bought that kayak, took it out in the back bays once, and snapped the shaft on the drive. That was always fun.
Wow.
Trying to pedal back with one foot pedal, and have that 5 miles to go against the tide and against the winds. And that's talking about rigging and building stuff. I broke 2 of those pedal shafts because of the where the stainless steel pins go through that aluminum.
There it is.
There
Stacy
you
Jordan. Stacy Jordan wins. Stacy, you won.
There we go.
Stacy,
after I broke,
message me your address, and I will get you in the right direction.
Get the winners tonight. Get that info to Marty, and Marty ships it to me, and I'll get that stuff to you guys.
And I know Stacy personally, so
yeah, talking about like rigging and building stuff. Like when I had that PA-14, I broke 2 of the shafts for the pedal drive. After the second one, I'm like, I'm not dealing with it anymore. So I ordered some 3/4 inch solid aluminum stock, re-drilled the holes out. I went out and bought the taps for bicycle pedals. You got a reverse tap and a regular tap. Tapped in my own threads, put pedals on it, never broke a shaft again. So it was
See, that's what kayak fishing's about, right there.
Yep,
that's right.
Right.
Okay,
that's cool. I've seen some repairs where people have wrapped the crank with like paracord to get back to the launch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
there was a little window where that was occurring for a little bit, but
we had because I think it was like the bimetal thing. You had the stainless steel pins, you had the poly-aluminum shafts. So I'm getting a solid chunk of 3/4 inch aluminum.
Hi, Howie.
That was a heavy drive.
My Hobie Outback is going into its 6th season. Is it
the newer generation?
Yes, newer generation, right? But it's got a huge weld in it. and a lot of other little stuff, but I just want to see how long it'll go. It's got over 800 trips. Over 800, easy.
There you go.
I'll share one quick repair story with you guys. So back in the day, I used to get to do like all the prototype testing for wilderness systems, but they never wanted the boats to be seen. So I would have to take these boats and go out in the middle of nowhere to these like remote reservoirs or rivers to test them. So I decided to take the Ride 115 first prototype down the river.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand how like prototypes are made, but you make them with this thing called a plug and you build like a temporary mold. So we made this boat and then you weld in the scuppers. The scuppers are not part of the way that the original prototypes are. It's not part of that. You have to weld them in after the fact. So Hans welded this boat together for me and I went over and picked it up and went and took it out to do prototype testing. I get about 6 miles into an 11-mile float and the boat's doing this woo thing. So I pull over to the bank and it took 2 hours for all the water to run out of it through the drain plug. And I had cracked one of the scuppers. Well, the scupper was so bad cracked, there was no repairing it on the water. I had PVC and, rescue tape and all these things that I brought with me in this little kit. Well, it smelled like shit where I was at. So I realized that there was this chicken farm up the hill. So I go up the hill to this chicken farm and ask them if they can, if I can borrow some stuff to fix my boat. They don't have anything really. And I look over in the corner and they got all of these like clear plastic 2-liter water bottles that they would take the cap off of and stand them up in this on-demand like water thing. And I was like, hey, are y'all throwing those away? And the guy's like, yeah. So I took a piece of paracord and tied it to like 30 2-liter water bottles. And I drug them down the hill and I just opened up the front hatch and started shoving these 2-liter water bottles in there and kind of hammering them in with a little short wood rod dowel about that long until I packed the inside of the boat with so many 2-liter bottles with the cap on it tight that even though the boat was leaking, there was nowhere for the water to go. And I floated the last 4 miles to get to the takeout with a kayak with a bunch of 2-liter empty Coke bottles jammed inside of it. Place the water.
When I got my prototype, I was rigging it up and I was looking in there. I had to put a light on the bottom of the hull for something, and I saw the same thing. I could see all the holes in where the scuppers were welded in. I'm like, it's gonna be all right. Yeah, it'll be fine. Like I'm going out in the bays. You're going like there's no way getting back to the shore. I'm like, yeah, just put some tape on it. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Oh yeah, if you've ever been part of testing and prototyping kayaks, you have a near sinking story, at least a few of them.
Oh yeah. I got one once. It was an ocean kayak.
For the 2 winners, send me their addresses too. I'll send a hat to each and sticker pack and stuff. Just some little.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you.
I'll email you, Howie, when I get. I have Tanya's, but I'll email you them when I get them.
That's awesome. Thanks, Howie.
Yeah, I'll put that down on my notes.
It was awesome hanging with you guys, man. Chad, good seeing you. Rob, good meeting you face to face.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah, guys, thanks for your time for sure.
One other shameless plug here, Howie, before we go. Thursday night, we are going to have another legend on, Jeff Little, at 8:00 on Conversations with Kayakjak. That's going to be a good one, you guys.
Right
on this same channel.
More wilderness guys.
Huh?
More wilderness guys. He was on wilderness too back in the day.
Yeah, and he's also a true wilderness guy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I will.
Right on, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night.
See you guys.
All right. See you.
Good night, everybody. See ya.
All right. Thank you. Okay, real quick. Are you there? Oh, he's gone.